urged Council to consider the possibility of a cultural centre combining such uses as an art gallery, a theatre, an arts and crafts centre, a museum. Whereas the Recreation Master Plan 2009 noted that the survey of community organizations identified improvements such as a new art centre with a small theatre and smaller concert halls and recitals halls as important needs. Whereas the Culturescape report of 2011 recommended the development of an arts and culture facility for the presentation and practice of all forms of art. In the 2014 budget, an initial $20,000 was allocated to do a feasibility study on a multidisciplinary arts facility. Whereas administration subsequently consulted with the arts community and drew up the terms of reference for a feasibility study for an arts and culture centre in August 2014. Therefore, be it resolved that an additional $30,000 be added to the existing fund of $20,000 established in 2014 as seed money for a feasibility study for an arts and culture centre to constitute an amount sufficient to conduct a comprehensive study on the need for a municipal arts and culture centre, and that the feasibility study would conform to the terms of reference established in 2014, and that administration report to Council at the meeting of June 8, 2015 to recommend the most appropriate source for the $30,000 to be added to the current $20,000.
Councillor Lambie-Don.
I guess I didn't. Yeah. So I'd like to begin by giving a big shout out to the artists in our community, the actors, the directors, videographers, visual artists, dancers, musicians, all the people who have truly, over the years, created a strong and vibrant artistic community here in Cornwall. But I think that as a municipal council, we have been remiss. We have only given minimal and sporadic, and I have to say, precarious support to the artistic sector. So this is our opportunity to step up to the plate and to build some real support in. We have the arts, heaven knows. Now we have to build them a home. This is our first step. And when I say we should do this, we should give this money to this feasibility study, it's not for the sake of the artists. Please don't think that. The artists are not a charity case in our community. The artists are working quite well in their own, but we as a community need an arts facility. In the past, the anchors of our economy were the factories. In the future, it's the cultural institutions of our city that are going to be the economic drivers and the anchors. So for our economic development's sake, we have to make a strong commitment and build the creative anchor for the creative economy that will lead us to the prosperity of the future. So I urge my colleagues to support this motion to add $30,000 to the 20 that exists now and get this feasibility study done. Thank you.
Councillor Frost.
Has the motion been seconded?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Mr. Markey. Yeah, it's very clear that I do support the arts, and I will support this motion. I just have a couple of questions. I'm not sure who wants to answer. But is this $30,000 the final $30,000 required for the feasibility study, and what is the turnaround time for that study?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The $20,000 has previously been established through the CAO's office. I worked, actually, Christine LeFay and Steve Alexander done the bulk of the work preparing the terms of reference. And in fact, it really became obvious as we were developing the terms of reference and trying to really establish an important process and make sure that we cover all the bases. The $20,000 was really not sufficient. So the addition of $30,000 will bring this study to completion. So we have basically, and a bit of money was spent last year, but effectively we're approaching very close to $50,000. I think we'll get a good community consultation process, as well as a decent assessment of what the possible sites might be, or buildings, or locations. So that's really where we hope to get to with the 50. In addition to that, once we have, there are some funding mechanisms out there, or opportunities. But in order to achieve them, you need to have a contractor or a consultant on board. And we don't know if we needed to establish the scope of work. So we will continue to look for funding opportunities. But I guess the short answer to your question is yes, the 50,000 should take us to a good process with respect to finding.
So just more on that, was there originally a quote for 50,000 from when we saw this thing?
We're just basically basing that on the amount, the time. The consultation effort is substantial here because there's a lot of reaching out to be done and in consultation with the community, not only the arts community, but the community as a whole.
But there possibly could be more.
There possibly,
back to council.
but I'm pretty confident that 50,000 will get us the study we're hoping to get initially anyway.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor